Thank you, John and Tony, for your very special remarks. First, I'd like to congratulate Michael on his induction and Betsy and the entire McCormack family on Mark's induction. And let me say what an honor it is for me and my family to have Jean in this incoming class with such deserving recipients. I'd also like to thank the nominating committee of the International Tennis Hall of Fame for this incredible honor and acknowledge Mark Stenning and his staff for all the fine work they do here. Many thanks as well. Many thanks as well to Jane Brown Grimes, President of the USTA and dear friend. And thank you to all of you who are here today, especially family and friends, for being part of this very special tribute. I remember coming here with Jean for years when we were first married, and later with our children, watching this very enshrinement ceremony on center court, wondering if Jean might someday be voted in. As we watched many tennis legends like John McEnroe and Chris Evert being inducted, I couldn't help but notice how at home Jean felt here, with the grass courts, which were his preferred surface, the court tennis gallery, he was a 12-time national champion and Hall of Famer, and of course the beautiful Stamford white architecture, which he never failed to comment on or appreciate. Jean cared deeply about tennis, every aspect of the game, and spent countless hours serving on the various committees here. He took very seriously all that the Hall of Fame stood for and trusted the nominating committee to uphold the rigorous standards set for players and contributors. Ultimately, of course, Jean lived up to those standards. And so it is particularly gratifying for me to stand up here today on Jean's behalf, knowing how deserving he is, how hard he worked, and how very much he cared. Jean cared passionately about tennis and wore just about every hat imaginable as player, promoter, journalist, editor, publisher, photographer, and entrepreneur, just to name a few. How lucky for us that Jean fell in love with tennis, that is, because he devoted more than 40 years of his life affecting positive change for this sport. Never content with the status quo, Jean had a penchant for stirring things up, for finding solutions and improving the game. He was relentless in his efforts and seemed to be driven by some embedded moral compass. He didn't hold back his criticisms of this sport and its administrators, giving the needle when and wherever he thought it was needed. No one was spared the Jean Scott needle, believe me, but it was always in the spirit of making things better. I had the incredible good fortune to be Jean's mixed doubles partner during the course of our marriage. It was truly one of the most treasured of his gifts to me. We managed to pull off the impossible, husband and wife not only getting along on court, but actually enjoying ourselves, and many times even winning. We moved in sync, and there was a natural rhythm that developed, but it was not all fun and games, I can assure you. It was tough love on the court. I was expected to pull my own weight. I had to get my own lobs, was told never to miss a return, and for God's sake to get my first serve in. Jean didn't suffer faults gladly, let alone double faults. One day, after I'd been practicing my serve for what seemed like hours, I asked him enthusiastically, "Don't you think my serve has improved?" To which he said simply, "No." Not one to mince words, let alone sugarcoat them. Jean said it like it was. So with that kind of motivation, it was back to the practice court for me, and thanks to Jean, of course, my serve finally did improve. Being around Jean was not for the thin-skinned, but more suited for the open-minded, the willing to learn, and the generous of heart. The passion and love that Jean held for the game was not reserved for tennis only. He was an incredibly loyal and devoted man to his family as friends, as many of you can attest. He had a particular affection for his brother Tim, who he deservingly had great admiration for. Tim, like his mother, was recruited to write for Tennis Week on just about any subject, including, but not limited, to tennis. Tim reminded me that Jean was generous to a fault in getting him tickets to Forest Hills and the US Open, not to mention Wimbledon and the Kremlin Cup, the tournament Jean founded in Russia. family dinners with Gene, Tim and his wife Toby, and Mrs. Scott when she was alive were gasping for breath funny, and the memory of Gene throwing his head back in laughter at one of Tim's many witticisms is one I will not soon forget. Life changed course for this impossibly talented, smart, and handsome man when our two children, Lucy and Sam, were born. Gene became the devoted father, proudly telling stories about them whether you wanted to hear them or not, attending every one of their games or school events. And naturally, we all played tennis together. I think one of his proudest moments was having his family gathered as he won the ITF Senior World Championship in 2004. In spite of everything he did to earn his place in the Hall of Fame, he put tennis business aside and fully embraced his new family. That valuable time he spent with us now holds such powerful memories, and we are forever grateful for it. Gene left an impressive legacy, one here certainly, one that can be seen and felt in very measurable ways. But it is ultimately the gift of love that he reserved for this sport of tennis, his close friends and family, and for me, Lucy, and Sam that I cherish most. We are all lucky indeed to have known and been loved by Gene Scott. Thank you for this truly incredible honor.
Thank you, Polly, and at this time, it's a pleasure to present you with Gene's enshrinement certificate. Congratulations to you and your family.